all that is gold does not glitter. Not all who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. From the ashes of fire shall be woken. A light from the shadows shall spring. Renewed shall be the blade that was broken. The crownless again shall be king. J.R.R. Tolkien, in his trilogy, The Lord of the Rings. I want to go over a couple of lessons that we can learn from Strider during the present coronavirus crisis. The poem identifies Strider as the future king Aragorn, and it holds two truths for those who are experiencing the quarantine of COVID-19 during this year, 2020. In times like this, depression is a real danger. One statistic says that for every percentage of unemployment that we face, we see 10,000 related deaths. Right now, that number stands at about 30%. That means we may be looking at 300,000 secondary deaths, not directly attributable to the virus, but attributable to the fact that we are locked down and quarantined to try to mitigate the virus. Primary player in this is the stress from the event being coupled with the uncertainty that we have no idea when the situation is going to change or what the situation will change to. What is the new normal going to look like? Am I going to have a job? Many American men find their identity in their work or their employment, in the idea that they either don't know if they're going to have a job, or even perhaps worse, they do know they're not going to have a job. It is devastating to them and their families. Secondarily, we are listening to an awful lot of information, much of it being disseminated by people who do not have our best interests at heart. Now, when I say that, I mean they don't know us personally, they don't know our situation, they don't know the ramifications of the things that they're saying. They may be well or ill intended, but practically it ends up the same. They're telling us the way the world is, and they don't really know who we are. Strider faced both of these issues, identity and uncertainty. The first is dealt with in the fact that not all that is gold glitters. He was the future king, and yet he lived in the forest with a group of rangers. He had none of the trappings of royalty. He found his bed oftentimes on the forest floor, and his clothing was a cloak that was stained by travel and ill use. There was no crown, there was no entourage. The paparazzi did not seek him out. Yet he knew he was gold. He was strong in his self-identity. He did not doubt his destiny. A long time had passed, and his family had kept faithfully to the promise without any sign of change in the situation. But Aragorn was a believer. He believed the prophecy, and he did not live his life dictated by his circumstance. Rather, he lived in the hope of that which was not seen. And finally, he was proven right in his self-evaluation and in his trust of the prophecy. As a Christian, I must recognize who my judge is. It's not other people, and it's not the devil. It matters not whether they puff me up or they blow me down. They look on the outside. Only God sees my heart. Secondly, as a Christian, I must not let my circumstances dictate my final end. The reality is, this too shall pass. God is shaking all that is shakeable to prove that which is unshakable. My feet rest upon the rock All else is sinking sand. All of these sentiments come back to the idea that God is our only true foundation. It says in the scriptures, what will the people do if the foundations be destroyed? But if our foundation is God, our foundation cannot be destroyed. Our adversary wants to kill your hope, and by extension, he wants to kill you. I pray that you'll find encouragement to continue your journey from these two facts. First, your identity, and secondly, your destiny are in the hands of God.